with us.
Well, definitely don't do what I did, because I had really bad luck and I had like 4 amateur fights before I turned pro. So definitely don't do what I did. But if personally, the way I would say is start off with jiu-jitsu, get really good at jiu-jitsu, do about 2 years of jiu-jitsu, get your blue belt at least, compete in as many jiu-jitsu tournaments as you can. Then go into kickboxing or Muay Thai and then do at least 5 Muay Thai fights. At the very minimum, do at least 5 Muay Thai fights. You don't have to win a title. It would be nice for you to win a title in an amateur Muay Thai promotion, but just at least get 5 Muay Thai fights at the very least minimum. And then get at least 5 to 8 fights in MMA. And I just recommend not – I don't recommend anybody do an amateur for a super long time. Here's why. You end up getting burnt out or like destroying your body and taking unnecessary like damage to your body without getting paid. And by the time you turn pro, you have so many injuries, because this is not a good sport like for your body. You're constantly going every fight. Like imagine you go into one fight as an amateur, you break your arm or you get caught in an arm bar and it gets tweaked, and then you go back to fight camp and just it's so unhealthy. So I definitely think getting enough experience, I think 5 to 8 fights in MMA gives you enough experience to see where you're at and at least win a title. I think winning a title is always good for marketability as a pro, and it's just good for you to go through that experience, to go through it all. So by that time, you should have at least 12 fights as amateur, and then a bunch of BJJ tournaments. There's never a reason why you shouldn't do BJJ as a tournament, and just for fun. And you'll nonstop competition. And then I would say hang around in the amateur scene, depending on how serious you're really trying to dedicate yourself to. But I say 2 to 3 years, 2 to 3 years after you're done, go pro. And then, so I think overall the blueprint from turning amateur to pro and making some kind of money as a pro, I think that all takes 5 years. If this is like your full-time thing and, you're trying to go hard into it, 3 to 5 years. 3 years as an amateur, 2 years as a pro before you start actually seeing a return in money and investments and all that stuff. Because in the short 2 years that I was as a pro, I'm now 6-2. In the short 2.5 to 3 years that I was as a pro, I mean, I think I am on my 3rd year now. I think I'm heading towards my 3rd year as a pro. But in the short 2 years that I've had 8 fights. 4 fights, if you want to, average it out, that's 4 fights a year. That's not bad. I think I could do more, but I had a couple injuries that I had to deal with. So, but yeah, I mean, like, if I could get in this position here today, imagine somebody with talent that could do it in 5 fights a year or something like that, or even take up pro boxing. I didn't have a management team in the beginning. I didn't have Dodge Sports. If I would have, I think I would have gotten a lot more fights, because I did everything through my own. But at the same time, because of what I did, it got the attention of Dodge Sports and sponsors and all sorts of stuff like that. So I think that's the trajectory on how to start a career.
But what about, let's say if you're a prospect in Taiwan where MMA is not that big, how do you get the sponsors there? How do you get, not necessarily like a way to sustain your lifestyle, but how do you just become a known fighter in a place like Taiwan?
This is very good. You need somebody that if you're an MMA fighter, not only do you need to know how to fight, you should look into networking and how to do business. If you know how to do business as an MMA fighter, that is crucial. That's the second most important thing, in my opinion, other than training. Training is the work you put in training. Social media is a part of your business. Networking is a part of your business. So you need to get really good at business, understanding marketing, understanding promoting yourself, understanding all that. Because if you don't have any of that, I don't care if you're the best fighter in the world. Nobody's going to want to,
I agree.
associate themselves with you. It's hard.